my brother knew well before anybody else knew, and I'm really glad that that was my first experience because he was playing video games in his bedroom, and I went in. I was like, "We need to talk about something." He said, "Okay." I told him. He was like, "Okay," and like went back to doing his thing. And I was amazed. And he was like, "You've been my brother since I can remember. It's just always been that way." And he was like, "Honestly, I was just kind of waiting for you to talk to me about it." But to have that as my first experience was absolutely amazing, and I think that built me up to be able to take on all of these other messages that I was getting from the community.
Good. I'm glad to hear that you did. I mean, obviously you're here, so you had a support system in place.
Right.
Because sadly, a lot of us don't have support systems in place, and we don't know where to turn to. So thank goodness you had that.
Yeah.
Was when this all was taking place, and you're building up to the prom, the community is starting to say things. You're starting to get negative and positive support, and basically you're seeing the world as it really is. How did you keep fighting?
That's a loaded question.
Yes, it is.
It took a lot and took everything out of me. There's a lot of pieces of my junior year that I don't really remember just because it was constant fighting. And honestly, my drive to keep moving forward was my brother, because I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for him. And with his constant support and encouragement and wisdom that I didn't know he had, like, he kept pushing me forward. And there were 2 separate occasions where I decided that, like, this isn't for me, I'll wait kind of deal. And he was like, "No, this is who you are. I've never seen you this happy and excited about life and moving forward and wanting to do things for people. You can't go back on that now." And one of those conversations actually happened with my parents in the middle of our living room. My dad was screaming about how he had this beautiful daughter who he would never be able to call his daughter again. And my mom was crying about how it was like I was dead. And my sister was talking about how it'll never be the same. We'll never have this relationship. And my brother was like, "I'm here for you. I've got you. And we're doing this." And it was really interesting to see how much he grew up in all of that too, to support me. And really fight back against my parents for a while until they had settled and kind of were like, "Okay, I guess you're doing this whether we want you to or not." And I definitely saw both sides of it, because there were times where my parents were extremely supportive and other times where it was kind of disgusting how much I didn't feel that they wanted me around. And it went back and forth a lot. But no, he definitely was my energy and my support and my motivation to keep moving forward through all of it.
I'm very glad that you found that and that he was there for you. And with parents and siblings, well, people know my story. I speak to my mother on the phone. I don't see any of my siblings because when I transitioned, and I transitioned later in life, I transitioned when I was 40, because what you did, I feel I tried to do when I was your age, and there was no chance that it was going to happen. I wasn't ready. There was no way it was going to happen for me personally. So I put off being my authentic self for 40 years almost to the world. And you said something interesting, that you hated the world. So earlier, you were just so angry. You hated the world so much. And I found that during those 40 years of my life, that when you hate the world and you hate yourself, it can be really easy to hate other people too.
Oh yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't like that was happening to me, was all of this hate kept building and building and building. And it's like, okay, I'm either going to explode, I'm going to blow up the world, or I've got to transition.
For real. And it's so frustrating because I'm not an angry person. I'm not a hateful person. And I do my best to see the good in everybody. But when you hate yourself that much, and then you're told that you have to love and appreciate other people, I think it just made me more angry.
Yeah.
And then...
because nobody's loving us.
Exactly. And then you finally start to feel that love as you're coming out, and you find the people who really love and support you and want to take care of you. And then it's like, okay, this is what life is about. This is where I'm supposed to be going.